What is up, AG Nation? I'm Ben and welcome to my top 10 online horror games on Android and iOS. And while I have you here, please do subscribe. I know that most of you who are watching my videos are not subscribed yet, and I would absolutely appreciate it if you did. And if you do, you will get your comments on screen like right now. Now, let's do this! Number 10. Horror Hunt Until Daylight. If for some reason you're looking for a clone of Dead by Daylight, Horror Hunt Until Daylight got your back. The formula here is 4 hunters versus 1 monster, and as a hunter you must take down the totems that threatens the monster, and playing as a monster, your task is to kill everything that moves. Hunters and monsters have special abilities and their own playstyle. On a side note, Horror Hunt's biggest con is the low player pool, so playing against bots will happen more often here. So I hope the game can get more modes and characters to play with, which will hopefully drive more players to play it. Number 9. Asylum 77. Asylum 77 is a horror hide-and-seek game where you will find yourself in an abandoned asylum, as the name gives it up. It's a 4v3 in a twisted place full of traps and hiding spots, and with 4 players on the human side, you're expected to find various keys and items to escape. 3 psychos on the other are hunting down the survivors. Asylum 77 features a multiplayer mode as well as a single-player offline mode. The game is fun but could definitely be better with the addition of more locations and perhaps a map feature and voice chat instead of the text chat it currently has. Number 8. Horrorfield. In Horrorfield, you join a crew of 7 survivors in a game of hide-and-seek against a maniac psycho killer. Each of the survivors you can pick have their own role and set of abilities, like the basketball player who is a fast runner, or the thief who has high stealth and agility, making hiding from the serial killer a viable option. As for the psychos, 4 characters to choose from, and they also come with their own unique skills. Horrorfield is a 4v1 co-op horror game that plays a lot like Dead by Daylight. The game itself is fun, but the bots, the bugs here and there, as well as the frequency of the ads can get annoying after a while. Having said that, the only way to say if this is for you is to try it out. Number 7. Specimen Zero. Specimen Zero is a first-person horror game taking place in a sinister place where you don't want to hang around longer than you need to. You and every other player who joined the session. The task in Specimen Zero is to escape before the scary creature eats you for dinner, and to do so, you need to search and pick up items to unlock doors, solve some puzzles, and so on. There are also weapons to pick up, and the location seems large enough for you to easily get lost, especially without a map. A few other things worth adding to the game if the developer is watching this are better camera mechanics, voice chat, add a friend feature, and just making the start of the game more accessible. Number 6. Dead by Daylight Mobile. Dead by Daylight Mobile came out in April of 2020 and it continues to be played to this day. One of the things that stand out with this one is its competitive nature, since DBD Mobile is built around ongoing progression. So whether you play as a killer or a survivor, the Blood Web, which is the skill tree that lets you improve stats, items and abilities for each character, and the cross-play feature, although only limited to Android and iOS for the mobile version, makes for a decent multiplayer pool. DBD Mobile can be quite demanding in terms of specs, and the many bugs that you can come across stops this game from ranking any higher in my list. Number 5. Horror Show. Some might say that Horror Show is a better version of Horrorfield, and I would have to agree. Visually it looks better and has smoother animation, and gameplay wise the focus is on the abilities and it's less grindy to some extent. On the downside, the maniacs or psychos in Horror Show are incredibly fast, like to an unfair point. Matchmaking can take a while and there is a lack of variety with the number of characters. So while Horror Show is, in my opinion and to many others, a better version of Horrorfield, the game has potential to be even better if the developers put some work into it. Number 4. Playtime Adventure Multiplayer. When I was a kid, I remember running around with my classmates while the teacher is chasing after us to get us back in class. This is literally the concept of Playtime Adventure Multiplayer. On a school trip, you end up in some sort of haunted camping spot with the teacher Miss T after you and your friends. Within a limited time, you have to find the keys to open the gate and escape. Playtime Adventure Multiplayer is a 5v1 where you play either as a hunter or a survivor, and there are unique weapons to choose from as well. The game is currently in early access, so it may not be available in your region yet, but from my first impression, it's a pretty good start. Number 3. Ice Cream Horror Brawl. Coming from the Ice Cream series, which is apparently quite popular and long-running, Ice Cream Horror Brawl is a multiplayer-focused battle royale game set in horror settings. Your task is of course to kill everyone or to be the last man standing, and to help you do so, There are weapons across the map to pick up and chests to loot. Chests can have a variety of items like healing kits that come in handy, or my favorite feature in this game, and that is the Chaos Crystals. Collect 4 of them and you'll be able to turn into an evil nun or one of the other villains like Ice Cream or Mr. Meat. No matter which you end up with, you can wipe down the competition with their special abilities. You can also customize your appearance, tag areas in the map with graffiti paint, and display emotes in-game. If I could nitpick on one thing, it will be the controls, which are a little too small for my hands. I have big hands, so hopefully a custom controls feature in the future. Number 2. Mimicry. Mimicry has the monster vs human squad gameplay and lets you team up with your friends up to 9 players. The game takes a page from the Book of Among Us, where one of your teammates will be infected by an alien creature, turning him into a monster. The infected player can then take on the form of a human, a monster, or any of the players he or she already killed. On the other hand, the human squad's goal is to escape before everyone is killed. Mimicry features real-time voice chat, unique monsters, and a variety of maps and locations. You can also customize your face, hair, and clothes, and the gloomy settings will keep you on your toes the whole freaking time. Despite a few minor bugs, Mimicry is fun to play and has alright controls. The only thing that bugs me is that players killing each other thing. Why is that a feature and why players are actually doing it is beyond me. Other than that, I highly recommend this one. Number 1. Identity 5. Identity 5 takes the big scary man chasing after small scrawny people concept and run with it. This is, for me personally, as good as it gets in horror PvP games, especially with all the collabs. They've had a Persona 1, Death Note, and Danganronpa to name a few. You get to play as a hunter or one of the survivors. As a hunter is pretty straightforward, you chase, catch, and knock the survivors out of the game. On the other hand, if you play as a survivor, you and your teammates will be dashing between 5 typewriters marked across the map to decode a password, which you absolutely need to unlock the main gate and escape. Gameplay wise, the hunter moves faster than the survivors, while these can interact with the environment like looting chests or blocking the way to the hunter with items. Identity 5 is also constantly getting new events, new features, as well as staying strong with the esports scene, and you can check out my best esports video for more details. Link is down below. And that sums up my picks for the top 10 online multiplayer horror games on Android and iOS, but now I want to hear from you in the comments. Which do you think is more fun to play as, the hunter or survivor? Of course, as always, if you enjoyed this video, clicking the like button does help me out a lot and I would really appreciate that, and if you're new, consider subscribing because I put out new videos like this every week. Also, a special thanks to my YouTube members, and if you want to support my content as well, links are down in the description. You can also show some love to this video with a super thanks. Once again, I'm Ben, thank you AG Nation for watching, and I'll see you next time, right here on Android Gamespot. Stay epic!